of documentation or evidence that weren't presented before this committee. We are simply giving Parliament the report as to what happened during the course of the inquiry. Chairperson, the only recommendation that is legally binding on Parliament, besides the fact our findings, which we made, we did the findings throughout the inquiry. The findings were made after we'd spoken to every witness, is the fact that we request Parliament to take this document and to present it to the Zondo Commission. Even that in itself, Madam Chair, is of public record, and Judge Zondo is in fact waiting in anticipation for this report from the committee. So there is no one that can say that we have not given people the necessary time to respond to allegations. That was not our concern, and it was not our role in doing an inquiry in Parliament in terms of oversight. We simply conducted oversight. We did not conduct a hearing. This was not a judicial hearing. And just like any report of Parliament, if we do oversight at Eskom, we're going to do it tomorrow, I think. Our committee will present a report to Parliament on the oversight we conducted at Eskom. Eskom doesn't have the right to reply to us on our report because we are simply informing Parliament and the public as to what our findings were when we conducted our oversight. And that is exactly why we conducted this inquiry in terms of our mandate of oversight as per the Constitution, so that we could present Parliament with the findings as if we had done a very extended oversight visit.
No, Chair, thank you. And I am supportive of the approach, in particular, the referring of our findings to other investigative authorities. We followed that in the past, and of course, in particular, to the recommendation that certain witnesses identified should present themselves to the Zondo Commission. I've personally already heard from a member
featured in the legacy report of the committee so that the 6th Parliament can oversee its implementations. The committee recommends to Parliament to request the Financial Intelligence Centre to assist Eskom in terms of its mandate to identify the proceeds of crime, combat money laundering, supervise and enforce compliance with FIC Act, share information with law enforcement authorities, supervisory bodies, intelligence services, the South African Revenue Services, and other local and international agencies. Eskom must seek to recover the proceeds of corruption and report to the relevant authorities any violation of law. Regularizing previous decision. In light of the overwhelming evidence of external interference and non-compliance with the relevant legislation and applicable supply chain management procedures in relation to Trillian, regiments and McKenzie, the committee recommends that Eskom board must take reasonable steps to regularize previous decision involving Trillian, regiments, McKenzie, and other companies that may pose a financial or legal risk. Financial management. The committee recommends that the new Eskom board should urgently engage the Auditor General to address all possible irregular, fruitless, and wasteful expenditure, as well as to initiate disciplinary steps against any official as required by Section 51, subsection 1E3 of the PFMA, who made and or permitted irregular, fruitless, and wasteful expenditures. The new board should institute an independent forensic investigation into questionable and irregular awarded contracts referred to in this report or any other matter which it deems necessary. The committee recommends that upon conclusion of the forensic investigation into all financial irregularities, e.g. irregular awarded contracts as well as suspicious transactions entered into, appropriate steps must be taken against any current and or former employees and board members who are found to have been complicit in the wasteful expenditure as a result of these irregular activities. The committee recommends that the new board should ensure that a comprehensive progress report relating to all pending investigations, including those related to Eskom's financial sustainability, is compiled and submitted to Parliament. 4.9, the loss of experienced leadership and staff with integrity. The board of Eskom must improve the entity's human resource management in order to attract and retain staff and managers who are capable and not prone to corruption and capture private interests. The Eskom executive management must reserve the culture whereby internal labor relations policies and procedures have been applied in bad faith to victimize or sideline long-standing, competent or law-abiding executives, senior staff and experts. The board must ensure that disciplinary measures are taken against professionals such as scientists and engineers who acted unethically and who through their willful and or grossly negligent actions caused financial losses and reputational damage to Eskom. The undermining of the principle and structures that ensure good governance. Hey, I'm sorry, Chair, I'm looking for my spectacles. I'm looking for my spectacles, I can't, they are not here. Okay. Let me take a sip of water. Maybe I'll be okay. I don't think the reading glasses are here. The undermining of the principles and structures that ensure good governance. The inquiry has exposed a set of executives and senior staff that appear to have been part of a network that actively participated in irregular, corrupt, and or otherwise unlawful contracts and processes at Eskom. Lifestyle audits of implicated individuals must be conducted. Report to relevant professional associations. Where necessary, reports to legal, regulatory, and investigative authorities. The list includes ministry advisory make application in terms of Section 162 of the Companies Act 71 of 2008, the Companies Act, to have any former board member who acted within the immediate preceding 24 months and implicated in fraud, corruption, and all other unlawful behavior declared delinquent.
Please pause. I'm afraid you might be straining your eyes. Can I continue reading? Can I assist? Thank you. 4.11, strengthening oversight capacity and clarifying the role of the shareholder. In the light of the findings of the inquiry into Eskom, the committee recommends to the Department of Public Enterprises and the government and the cabinet that they should review the legislative and regulatory framework governing state-owned companies. This review must include a consultative process that is inclusive of a broad range of stakeholders and also takes into account the evidence of corruption and state capture uncovered in recent years by the Public Protector, the Eskom Parliamentary Inquiry, and other bodies. The executive must introduce the shareholder management bill that was supposed to be introduced to Parliament in the 2017-18 financial year as promised by the former Minister Lynn Brown in her last budget speech. This piece of legislation is essential for strengthening oversight and defining the roles of the SOEs and the shareholder. The department must ensure that there is a clear and shared understanding of the provision in the Shareholders' Compact and the Memorandum of Incorporation of Eskom among all stakeholders and update these when necessary. The committee recommends that the two former public enterprises ministers, Minister Kigaba and Brown, must make presentations to the Zondo Commission in order to share insight into the roles they played as shareholders' representatives during the period corruption and corporate capture flourished at Eskom. 4.12, strengthening the powers of Parliament to hold individuals and institutions accountable. The committee recommends to Parliament to develop mechanisms through which individuals and institutions that refuse to appear before Parliamentary Portfolio Committee after being duly summoned in terms of Section 56 of the Constitution, Section 14, 15, and 16 of the Powers, Privileges, Immunities of Parliament and Provincial Legislatures Act, number 4 of 2004, and Rule 167 of the National Assembly Rules could face consequences. The committee recommends to the National Assembly Speaker to institute action against Mr. Dumieni, Mr. Duduzani Zuma, Mr. Rajesh Tony Gupta, Mr. Atul Gupta, and Mr. AJ Gupta, all of whom failed to honor their invitations to appear before the inquiry. The committee further recommends to the National Assembly that the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into allegations of state capture headed by the Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo should be requested to summon these individuals to appear before it. 4.13, report to Zondo Commission. The Portfolio Committee recommends to Parliament to hand over this report together with the documentation and the entire record of evidence collected in the course of the inquiry to the Zondo Commission of Inquiry for further investigation. Report to be considered. We thank you. This is the report tabled by Honorable Ranto as the chairperson of the Eskom inquiry. Can we then now get to adopt the recommendations? I have Honorable Mare, Honorable Mazoni, Honorable Swart, and then Honorable Singh, Honorable Luyenge. Oh, Honorable Luyenge, Honorable Singh, Honorable Khaula, Honorable Tseli. Yes, you are starting.
I move for adopting of the report and place it on the record that I support the recommendations as stipulated in the report. Thank you. Member Marie.
Move. Okay, Honorable Luyenge.
It's a point of clarity, Chair. Before we get to the adoption.
No, I park that.
Yes. Oh, do I park it?
No, I park the mover.
Yeah.
the move, and
On-
then I'm...
On recommendation number 4.10.4, in relation to the review or conduct an independent audit. So I want to check if that audit includes the lifestyle audits to the individuals, not necessarily the audit of the mentioned companies. It must also go further to the lifestyle audits of the individuals, as mentioned above.
Told it's covered on 4.10.1, the lifestyle audit. Yes, it's covered, the first paragraph under the subtopic. Agreed? Thank you. Then I'm bringing back shall I bring back or before that? Okay.
Chair, just
Sorry?
on page 141, the recommendation about section 162, I think the word director must be inserted right at the end. The concept is of a delinquent director, so it's just the insertion of one word. That's on page 141, paragraph 4.10.5. No, it's just insert the word director right at the end. It's so that applications are brought to have those directors declared delinquent directors.
Great members, thank you very much. Any other additions before we move? Honorable Khaula.
Chair, it's not necessarily an addition, but it's just I'm happy. It's 4.12 and 4.12.1. One would have thought that the point in terms of the recommendations that relates to the people that were asked to come to the committee that did not come, one would have thought that it will be put as a separate, and also as a separate paragraph, which will outline amongst other challenges that the committee has faced. And it then ventilates the efforts of the committee in specifically to those individuals. Because I think in a manner that outlines the behavior of those individuals when the committee was seeking those people to come to the committee, which they have refused, making spurious excuses and all those things. So one will have, because as we recommend that there should be, an action must be taken, but also those people should further be subpoenaed by the Zondo Commission, so that if that behavior repeats itself even into the Zondo Commission, you'll be able to trace the pattern which would have started from this commission. So I'm just saying that one would have wished that you will have that as a separate paragraph which ventilates the efforts of the committee to get those people to come to the committee. In the process, they might have hamstrung the ability of the committee to get into some of the finer important details that the committee should have received. Otherwise, I'm happy that they are mentioned, but I'm just saying that one would have wished that, so that you indicate the impact that they've had in terms of the committee executing its work. Thank you very much.
Let's dispose of that first before we move on. Isn't it not covered in the body of the report? But let me get a confirmation from Honorable Randa, but I think it's covered on the body of the report.
Yes, Chair, in the body of the report, it is covered. I also think Honorable Khaula can look at the 4.12.1, the last part of it. It says, the committee further recommends to the National Assembly that the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into allegations of state capture headed by Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo should be requested to summon these individuals to appear before it. I think that gives them enough strength and enough recommendation to the National Assembly to say the Speaker can then, when giving over the report, then Commission Zondo will also, in fact, this report, the whole report will go to Justice, to the Justice Commission, Judicial Commission. Therefore, they would get to that point also to say the committee was undermined by the individuals and therefore they need to do further investigations to the individuals. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Mazoni, then Honorable Tseli. Yeah, please record because I heard you from here, so and I would like you to record it.
Chairperson, I would like to very proudly second the adoption of this report and congratulate Team South Africa on a job well done.
Still want to come in, Honorable Tseli?
Yeah, Chair, just to go back to the issue that was raised by Honorable Haul, I don't think there's any harm in stressing that as part of that recommendation in terms of people who fail to honor the invitations to appear before the inquiry, to add despite all attempts to bring these people before the committee. I don't think there's any harm in stressing that attempts were made to bring these people before the committee. But nevertheless, Chair, it might be important perhaps in terms of bodies that were supposed to be conducting oversight on as the portfolio committee to say on regular, on quarterly basis, present progress report in terms of the implementations of the recommendations once they've been adopted by Parliament. Because at times recommendations are made and there are no implementations in terms of whatever Parliament has recommended. So my submission is that we might need a recommendation that says we might need a quarterly progress report in terms of the implementation of the recommendations once they've been adopted.
It's a total new point. I have a proposal and a second of the report on the table, but I would like to get a different party member seconding. We work as a team, but I think it's important. Yeah. Let me just start with Honorable Singh and then come to yourself. And yeah, if I don't even mind if individually you support. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. No, I'm not there yet. There are a couple of things to the report that I'd like to raise. Firstly, on 4.2, I think in terms of consistency, we must put Mr. Brian Malife. We've put Mr. and Dr. for everybody else, so we must add Mr. Then on...
Our team researcher, are you on that? Thank you.
The last page, 412, it's 412.1 and then 412.2. 412.1 is repeated. On 410.4, I think there's a word missing after where necessary. It could, where necessary, then we just got a hyphen and proceed with, or action. Yeah, action, blacklisting, recovery of whatever. And Chairperson, the other point that I wanted to raise has been raised by Honorable Tseli because I think it's very important.
Can we dispose with this so that we don't lose the sight of it?
I want to follow up on his point.
Can we deal with the amendment on as we dealt with the one that was raised by Honorable Swart, 4.10.4. There is a line 2 towards the end where necessary action, comma, blacklisting, blah, 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 blah. That's a proposal. What is the feeling of the committee? It's been supported. Thank you very much. And then your next point, Honorable.
Yeah, Chairperson, I mean, the point that Honorable Tseli makes is very important, and I've made a note here. There are a number of injunctions here and a number of requests to various people, the law enforcement agencies, the cabinet, the Speaker of Parliament, the Eskom board, the department, the minister, right? And except for 4.62, where we've given them a time, and 4.51, where we've also put a time. There is no time frame here. We need to say that all these people here need to give monthly progress reports to Parliament on what they are doing with regard to implementing or actioning these recommendations. So if it is Parliament, the Speaker must tell us, I have done 1, 2, 3 to deal with the question of how I'm going to proceed with the summons issue. If it is to the Minister, I mean, there are lots of things. If you look at every recommendation here, we are saying the committee recommends to the board to urgently engage the Auditor General. When, how, why? You know, those kinds. So we need to put a time frame to say monthly, or every 2 months or something. So Parliament is constantly made aware of exactly what is being done by all these people to whom recommendations have been made in terms of their responsibilities.
Quarterly follow-up processes is being proposed and seconded. Any problem with that? Agreed to. Thank you very much, Honorable Mare, agreeing. Let's now come back to the adoption with the amendments. Can I?
Yeah, then I'll second the adoption with the amendments that we.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chair. I also second the adoption with amendments. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. Honorable Luyange.
I fully concur with the adoption of the report, Chairperson.
Honorable Swart.
I concur.
Thank you very much.
Chairperson, yet again, very proudly support the adoption of the report.
Thank you, Honorable Mare. Honorable Mare, Honorable is the one who proposed. Oh, you moved. Thank you very much. Honorable Kalago.
Chair, I second with amendments, even if I was not here.
No, I agree, Chair. This is a true picture of the work that we have done. But I think it's also important for us to just appreciate all the people who came before the committee as witnesses and those who volunteered to come before us as the committee. It's important for us to appreciate.
Honorable Nobanda.
Thank you, Chair. Seconds with amendment.
Very much. Honorable members, the committee has adopted the report of the Portfolio Committee on Public Enterprises on Eskom inquiry. Yay! Hooray! Having said that, let me take this opportunity to thank and appreciate the work, the hard work that has been done by the committee team led by the chairperson of the Eskom inquiry, Honorable Ranto. That also includes Advocate Vanara, who has since left the institution, who left in a high note, having worked so hard. That also includes the academics that were assisting the team that worked, legal team that worked with Honorable Ranto. That include all the people that were able to make submissions to the work of the committee on inquiry. I might not be able to name them because I might leave others out. I don't want to make that mistake. We appreciate all the submissions that were made verbally and electronically or in writing. And we appreciate the members of the media that has been with us throughout that process. I joined the inquiry when it was 2 weeks old, started in 2 weeks, and I've observed the number of matters that I'm raising now, and we fully appreciated the work that has been done by the media, electronic media and print media. And social media is part of the electronic, I hope is part of the electronic media. And we are not forgetting the members of the public, the South African citizens that were supporting us at home, using their tools of trade, watching us, their pardon if they're stealing the time from their employers, and the viewers that were sitting at home, coming back from work, not sleeping till midnight, watching us, and we value their support. We want to thank the support of all political parties, leadership that supported us. We want to value the support of our leadership of the committee chair, House Chairperson, Honorable Floric, for his support to this committee, and the support it was given us by the Speaker when requested the Speaker to summon certain individuals to come to the committee, and the Speaker will just do that. And we appreciated her support, Honorable Speaker Mbete. And we support all the members of Parliament that were able to come in and assist if they are required to stand in for a particular member for one reason or another. And we appreciate all the staff members that were working on the background, supporting the committee. Let's give them a big hand of applause. And in that word, I'm not sure whether Honorable Ranto would like to reply.
Yeah. Like a bride. Yeah. Oh, thank you very much, honorable members. Thank you, Chairperson, and thank you to everybody. I don't want to repeat what the Chairperson have said, but I just want to acknowledge the presence of Professor, Professor, I can't, Ebert in the committee. He has been also very much useful within the collection of the information. Thank you very much, Professor. Members, thank you for the pressure you have put me under. I did not know that I've got those skills to work under such an enormous pressure that you have put me through, but we all proved to be reliable members of Parliament, public representatives, members that want the right thing to happen within the country. I hope that presenting the report to Parliament, if the report will be 80 seats in the next few hours, maybe, I don't know when it's amended, then, and I hope when we debate, we will still show the unity that we had in this committee, working together. No one will go astray because they have an issue on the minister that we have. So we will all talk the same language, do the same thing, agree on the same thing. Thank you very much, Chairperson, and thank you very much, members. Hopefully, next time we'll meet again. Thank you very much.
Before I close the meeting, I think we are so ever excited that we have adopted this report. I'm going to give 1 minute for the legal advisor to read the amendment that we have made on terms of reference, on the terms of reference. It's the last item.
Quickly, Chairperson, we can just delete that section, that whole paragraph that deals with giving the report for people to come in. And if the committee wants to add, and we say after deliberating on the evidence presented before it, the committee will adopt a report on the inquiry for consideration by the House. Just something neutral, and because it's a procedural issue.
Agreed to by the members. Honorable Mara?
Agreed to.
Any contrary review? Nothing. We're all agreeing. Thank you very much, members. And thank you very much for our guests, the media and our guests that have attended this meeting. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much from our staff, all of them. Thank you.